Hello everybody, my name is Hunziker. I'm the CEO of swissICT, the leading IT association combining experts, users and also suppliers of IT technology. And it's a great pleasure actually to be today here with Frank Thonüs from Dell, one of the leading companies here in Switzerland and also worldwide. And they also have the topic of digital transformation in their key agenda, and therefore it's a great pleasure being here. You are also engaged in the digital transformation, as I just mentioned, and we have launched what we call the Digital Excellence Checkup a little more than a half a year ago. And our intention is actually to figure out where are the companies in Switzerland now regarding digital transformation. Is it a key topic for you as well?
Well, actually it is, yes. We're measuring every 2 years. We call it the Dell Technologies Transformation Digital Index, where we measure and asking customers where do they see themselves in the digital journey. So are there, digital laggards, nothing to do with digitalization, or are they, the business is completely digitalized. And what we see is 6 years ago when we started the discussion, actually we saw almost no change over the next 2 years. Now the last 2 years we see a big trend into the more right side, which means more digitalization. So we see the customers investing a lot into it. Innovation is a very, very important thing. Data resiliency is a very important thing. Security, compliance regulations, all this stuff. But we see a big trend. So the question to you actually is, when you're driving these checkups, is this also what you as swissICT recognize, that Switzerland is moving into the digital era?
We've just started with the checkup a little bit more than a half year ago, and for us it's the first time that we do this. We had in the past the Transformation Awards, Digital Transformation Awards, and so it has already been a topic, and everything that we did now with the checkup is actually based on what we have seen. What we see is also a very strong interest right now. We have launched this through our channels, and we have already in the meantime now nearly 350 companies that actually entered their current position into this survey. And it's interesting because I see many similarities to what you just mentioned. We have been able to identify over all the industries that we are tracking with the checkup that there are 3 key areas that the customers actually say where they would put highest priority. One is for the company overall, so the strategic transformation and the strategy definition inside the company. But then actually is the topic about data, something you mentioned as well. And the other topic where the people identified a big gap, so where they would like to be and where they are currently, is the topic of innovation. So very much similarity. We will continue with the checkup. Perhaps we see the same evolution as you now see, or you have seen over the last years. But it's interesting, you said you have seen this key investigation. Do you think that Corona actually helped a lot in this transformation?
Well, it would be a good question to you how you see it, but the point is, I know exactly what you mean. From my perspective, what I can say is that over the last 9 months, a lot of this innovation project has been stopped or delayed. So why is it? Because customers are a little bit afraid, how does the future look like? What brings the future? And with that, I see a slowdown in these kind of projects when it comes to, big data, data lakes, pulling information out of the existing data to modernize my services or to create new services, being more agile, being faster to the market. All these kind of projects has been a little bit delayed. The good point beside of that is that a lot of customers are looking more deeply now into it, instead of just doing something which they actually don't know if it is the right thing for their company and their business. They're taking now more time, or they have more time to look a little bit closer to it, gathering more information from outside, looking what other customers are doing, learn from them, learn from the mistakes, and then replicate the good things. So it's a positive and a negative thing. Negative is it slowed down in speed. Positive, I believe, over the time, when we go back into a normal life, I believe then the quality will be much, much better. How do you see it?
What I think, that's interesting. I've just recently participated at an event where it was asked to be a funny question, who was most responsible in your company to actually drive digitalization? Was it the CEO, the CIO, or was it Corona?
Good point. Mm-hmm.
And it actually was, over the last few months, it definitely was Corona.
Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely it was. But what happened, and I think there we see the similarity, is that What happened over the last few months is more kind of digitalization and digital enablement for the individual working employee to actually get him or her ready to actually do it really, the work still continue in the lockdown position, and that the business model innovations, these really strategic effects, that's definitely something I would underline as well, that probably this has gone into second priority right now. It's really just staying alive, just being able to do the business as it should be, and thinking about the next steps, thinking about the next strategic evolution. It's probably come kind of a second step right now.
I mean, yes, I just can underline what you said. The point is that when I see my business here in Switzerland, Dell Technologies, everything that happens with work from home, these projects have exploded. Of course, nobody was ready what happened, right? And we also discussed in a couple of former Dell Technology transformation talks, you know, the impact of making sure that the employee can work from home exactly with the same experience then, well, compared to when he sits in the office. And this is one, nobody was prepared for that. And these were the project that became focus. On the other hand, again, the flip side of the medal is that you know, the more strategic business-oriented initiatives, they slowed down. The question which is linked to that is, how do you see then the future? So after this Corona thing, do you see a big push into more digital innovation campaigns, or what is your feeling from an association point of view?
We've just recently done a study about innovation and the innovation topics and aspects that companies want to invest in. And interestingly, they actually really think about not, at least for the time being, is not completely renovating or kind of a revolution in their involvement, in their innovation. It's more kind of an evolution. And but personally, that's what we have figured out in the study. I personally think that the companies that will just try to evolve will not be able to survive, because what has happened over the last few months is so dramatic that I think the completely ecosystem will change, not only in Switzerland but worldwide. But let me flip around and say kind of what can Dell actually help their customers to be in an innovation or evolution style?
It's really enabling our customers to make sure that they have the best experience to work from home, or actually to work from anywhere. That's the point. You know, sometimes I'm in the office, sometimes not, sometimes I'm traveling, sometimes I'm sitting in a train. So this is definitely one thing, right? The management, delivering the goods to the employee's home address instead of that he needs to go to pick it up in the customer's premises or in the headquarters of the customers, things like that. More importantly, when it comes to the business transformation, is actually, I would say there are two sides. One is the infrastructure portion, and the other one is more, let's say, the commercial or business impact side of the discussion. When we start from a technology perspective, it's very important that all the customers I'm talking to, they have actually the same issue. Even during Corona or even before Corona, the IT budgets went down or have been stable. However, we expect, or the business expect to do, or expect way more outcome of the IT than compared to the past. So with that, it means that finding money and resources to invest into new projects that are driving the digitalization within the customer is not an easy thing to do. So the easy thing to do it is to transform the existing IT, so the cost of the IT, the total cost of ownership goes down, that you, at an IT department, you're gaining money, and that money you will be able to invest into new things. This is A. A second trend that I'm seeing in that portion is that our customers are asking for well, everything as a service, right? I can tell you that also before Corona, but Corona speed the process completely up, is how our customers are consuming technology. In the past, it was very CapEx focused, so well, let's have the cheapest prices possible. But with the entire cloudification of our industry, plenty of our customers came to us and said, well, I don't know how my IT will look like in 3 years. My plan is to move maybe 50% of my application into cloud, but maybe I will be not able because of whatever reason, technical, compliance, regulation, whatever. So we need to have flexibility. And with that, it's very important that we as a supplier of IT technology, we are able to offer our customers, the technology itself in different flavors. And one of the best thing that I see, and a big increase now over the last couple of weeks, is giving the customer the possibility to invest very shortly with a small commitment into transformational IT equipment that allows him the IT journey, the digitalization journey. However, he has the flexibility, cloud-like flexibility, that he can grow up. And very important then is the orchestration and management layer. I can tell you that IDC just announced last week that 50% of the world-leading companies has decided to move 80% of their data from cloud again into premise. Doesn't mean that cloud will go down. It means that the growth rates of data is immense, and we saw it over the last couple of years, right? And this will continue, right? The data explosion we have in the planet is immense. So the question is, what kind of application workloads do I need to run on cloud? And what can I run on premise / private cloud / in hybrid clouds? And then when we come to that, very important is the interoperability of these different stacks. Moving data to cloud, back, forward workloads, and so on. So being independent, how do I create my cloud native applications, for an example? How do I develop them? What kind of data do they need? Can I develop it in the cloud, but then when it comes on a live section, can I pull it back into my on-premise data centers? Because then it's much easier to run and taking innovation out of that. Things like that. There is not a menu that just can do everything, so there is not the eierlegende Wollmilchsau, as we say in German. But the point is, I believe that every customer is special in itself and need to have a specialized and individual strategy. Giving all this information, when I discuss with my CIO colleagues of our customers, and when I present the Dell Technology Digital Transformation Index, they say to me, hey, it's great that we see that we're moving right, so more into we're becoming digital natives. The question is, how can we make sure that we are doing the right things? And this is where our customers sometimes struggle. But with your checkup from swissICT, you're helping customers that way. So how does swissICT could support end users and customers exactly on the journey to advise them, to bringing a little bit more light into the dark? How is the checkup working?
Checkup is actually a self-evaluation that we've developed. And the idea is that companies fill out that checkup, then actually they get immediately a response where we compare where they see importance for a specific subject and where they are, according to our understanding, where companies actually could be in the digital transformation. So they have immediately a comparison between relevancy and where they currently are in the status of their transformation. They have several options then to continue. One is they could start actually by having a benchmark where we compare them to other companies from the same industry or of the same size, so that they identify perhaps they have other priorities in the topics, or they are either advanced or behind perhaps the average in the specific industry. We also offer the opportunity actually to give an internal analysis of a company with the idea that several people actually go through this checkup, and then we can make the difference between what does the upper management see where they are in the transformation, where does the normal employee think they are. Because sometimes there's a big difference between defining strategy and real execution down there.
True.
And our idea is actually to help the companies identify these different gaps. Next steps can be either together with us, with our organization. We have working groups for many of the topics. But of course, as a membership organization, we are open that anybody that actually is part of our organization, like Dell, actually can be used to actually help individual companies to make the specific actions. So it's a twofold approach. Either we give them direct information what they want to do and we can help them a little bit, or they go to anybody in the market because we are open, and also the benchmark that we do is based on open know-how, and then actually do the follow-up. So if company actually identifies through the benchmark they did or the discussion that we have just had over the last few minutes that there's quite a gap and that there are some key issues to follow up, I think it's great to either do the benchmark with us and then do a follow-up with Dell Technology, or vice versa, whatever could be meaningful.
Completely right. Look, the thing is that, technology is one thing, right? Computers, it's zeros and one, but I truly believe that, people drives business. The more brain power, the more people are into an idea and can work on that, the better is the outcome. This is my summary of the discussion.
Perfect summary, actually. Thank you very much, Frank, for giving me the possibility to have this interaction with you. And for you, dear members, as you have seen, there's a lot to do regarding digital transformation. If you haven't done yet, completed the digital excellence checkup, it's a great opportunity to do it right now. And I hope you are doing well with the checkup. I hope you also know what you have to do. If you have some action points, Dell could be one of the companies that could help you. And yeah, all the best and happy digitalization.